Are you a realtor who doesn't think that email works, or maybe you've sent out email after email after email and just hear crickets? Maybe you used to do it and you were doing it really consistently and then realized it just didn't work, so you stopped it, or you're still sending out emails and still hear nothing. Whether you're in either of these two buckets, sending out emails or not, I'm going to show you exactly how to make them work for you, because oftentimes you could be sending out emails, barely getting responses, or it actually just not even getting opened or seen. So I want to talk to you about how we do it at Agent Moves and how we're very specific about making sure that we get engagement from it, but also really making sure that it is a part of a bigger marketing strategy. Okay. So here's the thing. When you're doing email right, statistically, you should be getting a 40x return. You heard that right, a 40x return. So email follow-up is the key to actually converting a majority of people who don't act right away. Okay. They are the people who just didn't book an appointment with you. They're just not ready. They're in this like middle journey. They think they may want to do something. They're considering it, but they haven't really done it yet. Okay. It is the best thing you can do to warm up an audience and help them get to know you. Okay, just real quick, I'm Selena Isaac, and for more than 2 decades, I've helped some of the biggest brands in the world get bigger with my marketing strategies. And I grew an agency to a top 10 agency by ad age. I also skyrocketed a tech company to a more than $500 million valuation. And now I'm taking all of these strategies to realtors, and very specifically the solo entrepreneurs who don't always have the time to, well, let's face it, or budgets to actually compete. So I am teaching them how to do it a lot more effortlessly. And Agent Moves is a platform that we developed to really give you everything that you need from a marketing and prospecting perspective. Okay. So in this video, I am really just going to focus on how to make email more effortless and what we do at Agent Moves for our clients when it comes to email. Okay. All right. So with a 40x return, that is massive potential. But unfortunately, there are so many reasons why the email ROI that you are probably getting, it is very low and nothing like that. So the number one reason is probably that you aren't even reaching the inboxes of your recipients. And you probably don't even know if they aren't getting there or getting opened because you may not even be tracking it. Okay. But email ROI is actually all about deliverability. Now, deliverability is just the number of emails that make it to the recipient's inbox without the email actually bouncing or marking it as spam. Okay. So the interesting thing about emails is that we all have it, right? We have plenty of email addresses, right? I've honestly never talked to a realtor that in some way or another doesn't have tons and tons of emails in their database. Okay. The other great thing about email is that it is an owned asset. Okay. Nobody can actually take that away from you. Like Facebook can't take away your email list. I know so many realtors who rely on Facebook or Instagram for everything, and that is astonishing to me, right? Because their business would essentially plummet if Facebook blocked them or something, right? So you really want to be communicating through email, and email address is actually worth a lot if you use it right, okay? All right. So the other thing about emails that you should know is they're basically free to run, right? You don't have to pay for that. You don't have to have ad spend or Zillow money to like get your emails to work, right? And email should really account for 20% of your revenue when you are doing it in conjunction with everything else, okay? So you have probably watched from many of my videos, or if you've heard me talk, you know that at Agent Moves, we really also love phone. We love SMS and text messaging as well. But let's be clear, a phone number is really great for getting an immediate response, but email is great for nurturing someone who is not ready yet. Okay. So Not only that, but email is just one component of your entire marketing strategy and should be that way. And when you're doing email with everything else, right, like that we do at Agent Moves, which is SMS and mailers and video, right, and social, when you're doing email as a part of this, that is how you get that ROI so high, right? And it's actually one of the reasons that you probably signed up for Agent Moves, because you were going to get this holistic omni-channel marketing campaign. Okay. So we've got you covered everywhere when it comes to your database and making sure you are unforgettable. This is just an example of the marketing calendar that an Agent Moves client has, right? Where we've got email, we've got SMS, we've got video, we've got social, we have direct mail. I mean, it's really everything and all encompassing. What I want to focus though on this video is really email. Okay. And that's kind of everything that we do from an email perspective, because that's what is used to really just warm up, because a big percentage of your database is not ready to act right now. And so email is going to be the perfect way to nurture them. Okay. All right, so let's talk about how we do email differently. And you heard me talk about deliverability. So I want to talk about how to actually get into the inbox, okay? Now, from an Agent Moves perspective, we're all about engaging your database, right? And engaging it in all these different ways and across so many different channels. So for email specifically, the big thing that we worry about is getting seen, right? Because there's no way to get engagement if you can't even get into the inbox, right? So the first few things that we're going to talk about on this list, you see there's 5 things here. The first 3 things are a bit technical, okay? But I think it's important to understand at a high level, and I promise I'm going to make it as simple to understand as possible, okay? So take a look at this email here on the left, okay? It is an email that I actually get. I get it consistently from a realtor, and every single time it goes to my spam, and I went to go find it to get it back up. But take a look. I've actually blurred it so you don't see their stuff, but if you take a look right here, you see that in the domain name, it says ccsend.com, right? WTF, what is that, right? That is basically their domain name, the CRM system's domain name that they are using to send out emails for their clients. Now, this is a problem, okay? Because when your email address that you have put as your from email in your name doesn't match the actual sending domain, right? Which is actually what the case is with this, you will never get into the inbox. It's called a domain mismatch, and you don't want that. So this is pretty important to know, and a lot of CRMs just don't do it. It is much easier to have one sending domain. There's a lot of setup involved with having multiple, so that's why they do it that way. But if you're doing it that way, you're just not going to get seen. Okay. So let me show you another one. So this is one, and it's related to the domain, but it's a little different. This one, it wasn't a domain mismatch, but this is obviously, you can see it's sent from another CRM system. So it's still their domain, but when you send it from a different domain, you're honestly confusing the person who's getting it, right? It may have your name on it, but it's coming from a different domain, right? And so you are kind of bulked together with everybody who's sending it from that domain. And so whatever is happening with that domain, whether it's getting sent to the junk box or it's getting sent to, the promotions folder in Gmail, right? Whatever is happening with all of those is happening with yours too, okay? So that's not great. You don't want that to be happening. You want to use your own personalized domain, right? You want to use something that's from you, right? It looks like it's from you, the sending domain, everything matches and it's from you, right? Like for Stacy, it's stacyesser.com, right? And we actually use a dedicated domain just for sending out emails. And what we do is something like reply.stacyesser.com, okay? And what that does is it has another little domain on that. It's called a subdomain. And what that does is if, for example, we're sending out some cold emails and we get like a little bit higher unsubscribe rate than we would want, and you expect that from cold emails, we actually won't tarnish the main domain name. We will just create another subdomain, and then we can use that to send out other emails. So that's why dedicated domains are really important. And I'm sorry if that was really technical, but it's so important to understand because so many people just can't get email to work, and it's really just a technical thing, right? That sometimes you just wouldn't know about, right? Which is why at Agent Moves we take care of all of it. You don't even have to worry about any of these technical aspects of it. Okay. So that kind of covers us here in this first one. In this second bucket, I am not even going to attempt to explain this, but it's it's DNS records that are on your domain. You have to have these certain security protocols set up, and you'll be surprised, but many people didn't do this. So actually, in the middle of last year, DMARC records were really, really recommended, but a lot of people have not even added these to there. So if you don't have it, you should add it. But if you're an Agent Moves client, don't worry about that. We do it for you. Okay. The third component is the simple one. It is just you want to send to real email addresses. If you send to a fake email address or an email address that has a full mailbox or anything, whatever it is, but it's not a real email address where people can get email, you will get a bounce. And if you get a bounce, it ruins your reputation with the provider, right? So you don't want to do that. You don't want to have a bad email reputation. You will go into spam for having that. So at Agent Moves, we verify everything. We validate every single email the first time we send it so that, we know, right? And we get really, really good stats. We get like 100% deliverability because nothing's getting bounced back. All right. The other, and these two things are more related to the content, right? But they do help you to get into the inbox. So one is trigger words. There's certain words that we use, even in real estate. I'll give you one: home or free. Things like that actually are trigger words for Google, and they will put you into a different folder, promotions folder, sometimes even junk, depending on how badly or how many times you use those trigger words. So we don't want to use those. We also want to make sure we don't use them in the subject line. All right, and then personalization, right? That helps your open rate, right? Because you're speaking to someone, you want to make sure you have their name in it. Even their name in the subject line is awesome. These are all things you just want to pay attention to. So let me just show you some stats that you want to see. I'll move my face out of the way. So some stats you want to see. So this is for SOI. So when you're sending SOI, right, first of all, you want to make sure that you have 100% deliverability rate, right? As close to it as possible, right? And if it's ever a little lower than that, it's usually because someone's mailbox is full. It's okay. It can happen. But you want to have pretty close to that, right? But they should all be valid email addresses. Okay. You want to have, to your SOI over 60%, right? That should be a standard that you're looking for from an open rate. If it's lower than that, it's not good. Okay. Got to have over 60%. And that's great. That means you're being seen, right? You're more likely to get engagement when you're being seen. In this case, this had 0% click rate because we didn't have a link in our email, which is totally fine. You don't need to have a link in every single email. It's actually good to have some emails that don't have that. You want to make sure no one complains about you. If you do have a bounce, like a random bounce that gets in there, which sometimes you can have if somebody, if it was validated and then it was sent and, no longer that email exists anymore, that can happen. You want to have very few unsubscribes, no fails, right, whatsoever. But that's really what your SOI should look at. So what we really are looking at is, the actual sent is 100%, has to be 100%. The delivered is, should be over 85% for sure. And your open is over 60%, right? You want to have all basically zeros right here. Okay. For cold emails, this may look a little different. Now, for cold emails, we happen to get a really high open rate on cold emails. Now, if you can get over 40%, that's not bad. That's pretty good for a cold email, right? For open. But all of these should be close to 100, right? In this case, this is just a random thing at 89%, and it was because 10 of the emails were removed. But anyway, all right. But yes, you want to get these numbers really as high as possible. Now this you may not get as high as we get. We get pretty high because of the way we do our cold emails, and I'm going to talk about content in a second. But yeah, now you will expect you want to get 0 complained, but you will get more unsubscribes, right? They're cold emails, and it's okay to expect that. You don't want this to go over 1% though. Okay. But that's really what we're looking at, and that's what we measure to make sure that your stats are looking right. When we see numbers like this, we are happy. We know that your database is getting engaged effectively through email. And then when we couple that with social and SMS and everything else that we do at Agent Moves, it's just going to completely skyrocket your business. Okay. All right. So let's move on. All right. Let's talk about content. Okay. Now, I'm going to keep this pretty brief now for the rest of this. I don't want to go on forever. Sometimes I do that. But what we want to do is we want to position you as the go-to realtor. So how do we do that? Well, we essentially want to 100% focus on showing people in your database that you know what you're talking about, you know about real estate, and we want to show your passion, right? And that you care, right? So we want to show your passion for the local area as much as possible. And all of these things really help position you as the go-to realtor, right? So it's all about your knowledge and your passion. Okay, so how we do that is we have a mix of different things that we will share, and these are provided as a part of agent moves. So we do emails twice a month, okay, and we do this as a part of a bi-weekly go-to realtor, and we do a market update and a local events email, and this is one of the nurtures, right, that will go to the same people. So they're always getting these two emails together at different times, but they're always making sure that they get these two emails. And then we want to do things that show that you care, right? And show your passion. So how we show your passion, how you care is when it's your SOI, right? We want to send them holiday nurtures. We want to make sure that they, we say happy birthday, happy anniversary, or we are saying, happy new year, or whatever that may be, and how much we appreciate knowing them, right? So that just shows that you care. But we also want to show your insights and knowledge about real estate, and especially for people we are warming up. So things that we may do in this may be a 12-week warm-up nurture, which every Agent Moves client gets, which just showcases your knowledge and how you may do things, and it puts your strategy into an email nurture so people can learn about how you actually do things and how you get results, right? And then we want to do a seasonal one. So that's what we do with our clients is 4 times a year. We want to give like a homeowner, update. And I'm going to show you some examples of these actually right now. Okay, so this is kind of the categories that it fits into, but let me show you one of the ones. So this one is done at the first of every single month. Now take a look. Your email is going to be your subject line is going to be completely personalized. Your email address is going to be your own domain, and all those technical things will be handled and taken care of for you. But your domain is your own, right? We do very simple text-based emails. So it's text at the top, and then we put in one image very specifically for the events that you may be showcasing. And then we do these ones consistently at the first of every month, so people know what to expect. Oh, it's a new month. I'm going to get my events of what's going on in the area, or whatever your whatever nurture you may be doing to show that you know the local area. Every agent at Agent Moves does it a little differently, but events are just like a standard. They should be like always done in some way or another because it shows you care and you know what's going on. Okay, so that's the first of the month. The 15th of the month is very specific email that is done for your market update to show that you know what's going on in the market. We show you how to do your video, and we embed your video in the email. Now, again, this doesn't look like a newsletter. Very specifically, it doesn't look like a newsletter. A newsletter has a lot of what's called HTML content in it, and so it's styled in certain ways. No, we don't do that. The reason that we don't do that or don't like to do that often is because when it just looks like text like this, it is going to get a better chance of getting into the inbox. It is going to have a much better chance of getting opened, and you will get more engagement from it. So that's why we do it like that. Okay. So again, simple text-based email. We put a video, we do an image stat as well under that, and it's consistently sent out. Okay. So the next one, and I should point out actually before I go on, but the next one in the actual video, we teach you exactly what to say in this video, how long to make it. We send you reminders literally exactly when you need to do it, how to submit it. We optimize that for you. We get it onto YouTube. We do all the work for you, so you don't have to worry about it. All you're doing is recording your video, and we show you how to do it in a couple minutes, and It's simple and it's effective and it works. Okay. All right. So this one is just the seasonal guide. We very specifically have no images in most of these. I think there's one that has one image in it, but it's very specific to just showing you, here's some things real quickly that you should do to get ready for the spring, or here's some things that you should do to get ready for the winter, right? Whatever it is in there, sometimes some agents will actually put like vendors that you could work with nearby. Again, it's showing your expertise in the area. It's your local expertise, and it's showing that you care. Like, I want to make sure that you take care of your home. So here are the things that you should do, right? Okay. I also just want to point out, and you can't see it because I have blurred it and my face is in the way, but we do like to have a very standard signature. All right, your signature looks like you sent it in your email. That's really important to do. And a one-click unsubscribe, right? Just make it easy for them. If they don't want your stuff, let them unsubscribe. You don't need them in your database then, right? Let's just focus on the people who you can engage. Okay. All right, so if you're asking about cold emails, it's really, really simple. We do a 12-week nurture, and in that nurture, we essentially, and this is just for cold emails, we will nurture them for 12 weeks in email, and we send them an SMS message every month within that, right? So there'd be 3 SMS messages to go out. But in this email, the content is really about your knowledge about real estate. It's giving them advice on how to take care of their home, things they can do to increase the value of their home, right? It's great to do cold emails with homeowners, okay? Unless you have a very specific strategy that you're working on with Agent Moves for renters, which we have some that do that. We really focus heavily on homeowners and getting them to sell their home so that we can attract seller leads for you. Okay. Now, again, all of this works really well when you're doing it in conjunction with everything. You cannot just do email in a vacuum, right? You want to be doing everything consistently together, right? Because it will have just maximum impact for you, right? And that's why we care so much about consistent messaging, consistent styling, so that it all feels cohesive with your marketing strategy and your marketing plan. Okay, I hope that was helpful for you, and I'll see you in another video. Take care. Bye.